2 minutes. everyone, mabuhay Philippines, Xin Chao Vietnam. My name is Eman Paras, co-founder of WellNest App. Mr. Napoleon Hill once said, "You either control your mind or it controls you." Everything begins and ends with the mind. So that is particularly the thing that we will discuss. We will talk about this afternoon how we can unlock the potential of our minds. So we're very excited to have with us one of the most sought after trainers and speakers about mind conditioning and about neurolinguistic programming here in the Philippines. So, just to be able to give a background about our speaker, she is the president and CEO of Trainstation, Singapore, Philippines, and Hong Kong. She is a social and emotional intelligence coach, an NLP trainer, international motivational speaker, and best selling author of the book Captivating Communication. She is an empowerment and communications coach, building confidence and inspiring people through her life changing workshops and seminars. She is a leadership and organizational trainer certified in NLP and in Gallup Strengths Finder. She went through training with Wharton and Neuroleadership Institute for Neuroscience and Applied Neuroscience. She is a part of a community called Wharton Neuroscience Initiative and has founded Brainstrong Initiative. She is also the head of Change Station, campaigning advocacies in bringing change in communities. She's also known as a love guru, coaching people on love. During the lockdown, her organization has been providing free coaching for people going through anxiety. She has partnered with AHA Learning Center to provide training for public school teachers, parents, and students during lockdown. She is a part of an advocacy called Edu Rescue to help sustain education during lockdown. She engages through fun and is a performer for 30 years as a TV, film, and theater performer. She has trained thousands of people and hundreds of organizations, including Google, Shell, Microsoft, DepEd, Nestle, McDonald's, among others. So, without further ado, let's welcome on stage, on the virtual stage, Miss Carelle Mangaliag-Herrera. Hello, Coach Brad. Great to see you. Yes. Hi, Carelle.
Hello, can you hear me? Your voice is really
Yes, we
loud
can.
lang. Adjust my signal.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Hello,
So,
can you hear me? Emma.
yes, yes. We can hear you, Carelle. So, Carelle is actually on her way to a wedding. So, thank you, Carelle, for making time to be with us despite your busy schedule. And as you can see in the video, she's all dressed up. I wanted to wear my Barong Tagalog to be able to match her her attire this afternoon. So we're just waiting for her to come back. Just to give you a preview of what we do in Wellnest. Wellnest is an application that is both available in Google and Apple Store that provides 24/7 access for mental health and coaching. So in Wellnest, you can actually browse through coaches and therapists. You can book a session, pay for the session, and even actually conduct the actual video call using the app. So in Wellness app, we have six categories. We have mental health, mental therapy. We have performance coaching. We have relationship counseling, spiritual counseling, lifestyle coaching. So lifestyle coaching includes uh, yoga instructors, image consultants, and even physical environment uh, fixing. So yeah, and we also have financial coaching, and that's where I am coaching. That's my category in Wellness app. So please download it uh, for in under Google or Apple Store. Okay, so I think Karel is ready to go back on stage. Hi, Paul, in a ship crossing Northern Sea and watching this live. Congratulations, Paul, on your internet connection there. Amazing how you're able to still connect while crossing the Northern Sea. Please take care there, and I hope we all pray for the Ukraine conflict to be able to end so that everyone can have peace and won't get worried about the war escalating. So praying for you, Paul, and please enjoy and take lots of pictures. See you when you get back. All right. So Miss Carol, aka Superwoman. Hello to Miss Carol. Okay, there
Hello,
you
hello,
go.
everyone. I'm so sorry.
Hello. Hello, Karel. So again, thank you,
Yes.
Karel, for making time for us despite you going to a wedding. Uh, I was saying I was supposed to wear Barong Tagalog to be able to match your attire this
I know,
afternoon.
full on hair and makeup. Well, I'm dressed for this interview, ready and dressed for this interview. So I just have to apologize if every once in a while I will fluctuate or I will lose signal because it's a little bit erratic here in Tagaytay where I am right now.
No worries, no
But
worries.
anyway, yes, let's fire away and then maybe we can answer as many as we can, as much as we can with the time that we have.
Yes. So Karel and I go a long way. We were actually colleagues in AIA Philippines. She was a former unit manager there. And I was actually surprised, Karel, because back then, when you were in AIA Philippines, I did not know that you're also in training in NLP. No, so can you tell us how did you what led you to coaching and training, in particular NLP? What can you describe to us your journey?
Well, actually, it started because I was in sales, because I was in AIA back then, and there's really no school that teaches you how to sell. Of course, the company will teach you how to sell, etc. But I've always wanted, to learn more, so I read books. And one of the first books that I read was on Mastering the Game by Carrie Johnson, and a lot of these books that talks about body language, calibration, a lot of these tools and techniques. And the way that I learn, whenever I learn something, whenever I ex- um, um, get to have knowledge of something, I experiment and I practice. So I practiced it in selling. And that's when I realized, oh my goodness, I'm getting quite good at selling. I'm very good in selling. And then I started having my own agents and I started training them, and they started getting their own awards. So it started first as a tool. It was really a tool, and when I started going into my training formally, I was calling Ateneo then, and I was like asking, is there something that teaches these things, the ones that I'm reading in the book? What is this called? And I researched because it was talking about where your eyes would go, mirroring, rapport, and it talks about the root science or studies on it. Of course, there's psychology, and then there was neuro-linguistic programming. And I said, does the Philippines offer this? Where can I study this? And there was no one who was going to teach
Yeah.
that in the Philippines. So I ventured into studying in the United States. And when I got exposed in NLP in the United States, it wasn't about tools pala. It wasn't about tools at all. It was about going deep into your programs, going into what stops you from becoming a better person. It goes to all of these tools that help align you, and all of the things that I learned about rapport, about eye movements, all of the behaviors, they're just icing on the cake. They're just side behaviors or side things you look at to calibrate somebody when you're coaching them, or when you're going to create an intervention with them or help change a wrong belief system. You can utilize this. So I realized, oh my goodness, what this is teaching me is so much deeper than just for selling.
Yeah.
So in its application, when I started using it for my own life, oh my goodness, so many things have changed in my life. And um, I never realized all the baggage I was carrying all my life. Of course, I knew that I really needed a lot of help. I was very depressive. I was I had restlessness. I had ADHD. I had histrionic personality disorders. I was in a lot of trouble. I was getting into a lot of trouble prior to the time that you've met me. I really got myself into a lot of trouble, emotionally, financially, in a lot of ways. And my family was not like supportive. So I utilized what I learned and applied it to help myself. And the breakthroughs that I've experienced, therefore, inspired me to try on others and help others. So I have said I'm such a researcher, I'm an experimenter. So whatever I learned to apply it onto other people. And all of a sudden, people would just say to me, and I've always been an advisor. People would really go to me when they have problems. But now I have tools and I'm able to help people. One of the first people I had was like a very depressive person, suicidal. And I was able to help this person in his journey towards being better. And it started now piling up. A lot of the people that I started seeing, a lot of them have really deep trauma, a lot of heavy phobias. I have people who have fear of flying. I have one person who is so scared of who's hypochondriac. So different kinds of individuals, and there are amazing results such from the that I've learned
Carol,
that
we're
I've
losing you a
done
bit.
that and then because I became a speaker. Sorry, you're losing me.
Yeah,
Hello.
a bit. But sige lang,
Three,
go
four.
ahead lang.
Hello. Yes. Can you hear me? I think I have. Can we maybe we can go up na? I can. Risk mo na. Mm-mm. I-move na natin. Ayan. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes,
Hello. Hello. Yan. Ayan.
yeah,
You can hear me.
yeah.
So, what part did you lose me?
This just the probably 20 seconds. When you the last 20
Okay.
seconds. What you're saying.
Okay. Yeah. So, it was how we're trying to look for better signal. So we're trying to move from where we were because I could see the bars dwindling in that area. So yeah, what transformed me was really that high in helping other people and realizing that maybe I can help people instead of just in AIA we help people one on one. I help individuals, we help them in I help them in selling. But when it comes to
All right. So a bit of patience, guys. Thank you for your for being patient with us. Just like life in general, there are unexpected detours and disconnections. So uh, we're experiencing life in a nutshell here.
I'm alive.
Yes. Carol, you were saying that say the your career in sales actually led you to your life mission. I would like to think that this is already your life
Mhm,
mission. So, being a person who actually
mhm.
experienced, your own difficulties and challenges, no. with the baggages and the limiting beliefs
Mhm.
that we have. No, Karel, what's in general? No, what's limiting us from unlocking our truest potential? No, and how do we unlock our minds? No, and how do we reverse our behavior so that we can really harness more of our potential as human beings?
When we talk about change and when we talk about new behaviors, transforming our lives, it sounds a little too daunting. It looks like a monumental task, and therefore we resist it immediately. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but it's just too big, it's just too huge. But what I love about what I learned is that it can be simple. And when your brain thinks, hey, it's simple, hey, it can be done, then it stops or lessens the limits because it's simple. So, what I loved when I learned about NLP was that the mind is simply programmed. It is programmed. And the programming comes from the environment, the experiences, of course. And what the linguistics in NLP talks about is the labels. How can I change those labels that limit me? Because I have probably so many things. Like I used to say, oh, I'm a loser. I used to say that all the time to myself. Or I'm not worth it. I'm not worthy. And I'm not worth this. I'm not worth that. And just because of those words that I say to myself over and over, my body believes it. My programs believe it. So I had it was so breakthrough for me, and this was like what, almost 30 years ago. That was such a breakthrough moment when I said, oh, that's how I define things for me, and that's why this is how I respond or react. Like I have this case that is so fantastic when it comes to love and limiting beliefs about potentials of love. I think a lot of people are interested here because I said, why do I end up with losers? Why do I all my ex-boyfriends? Why are they all losers? And I'm so bad at saying that they're all losers. They were some
I
of them
hope they're
were
not
actually
listening.
nice. I actually believe some of them were good and some of them were nice, but I just didn't also know how to handle them. I also didn't have that worth on. I didn't have that good self worth. So, I when my trainer in NLP said, "Okay, let me ask you, how do you define love?" And I said, oh, love is when a person prioritizes me, has time for me, spends time to be with me. And my trader says, okay, so you complain about all your boyfriends being losers, right? I said, yes. Why are they losers? Oh, because they're jobless. A lot of them don't have jobs. They're not overachievers, and they're not ambitious. And the trainer said, okay, who has the most time in the world? For you, love is time. And who has the most time in the world? Well, of course, those people that you've just mentioned. So I'm like, oh, so how I define things, that's what I get. So I started realizing what are my labels for myself? What is my label for my potential? What is my label for what I want to achieve? What kind of life I want to have? And elevating that value that you see in yourself allows for better things to happen in your life. Um, I could say that, I say this when it comes to love. You become a high value woman to get a high value man,
Yeah.
right? So when I saw my value, I knew I deserved a high value person also in my life. And same thing with the successes you achieve and the successes I have in so many things. I see it as something I have worked for. This is something I deserve. This is something that I am limitless based on the limits I put on myself. And I have put limits. I'm not saying that I can do everything. I've put limits because I want certain things too. I want to do this,
Correct.
but up to this point, because I know that if I don't tether myself to I can work myself to the pulp,
Yes.
and be overexhausted and etc. etc. But I could also learn how to manage my energy, and experience the success, and experience the contentment, and experience the success that truly is success. It's not just you're financially okay, but your marriage is falling apart, or your kids don't want to talk to you. I want to have it all. I'm so sorry for those people who think I can only have so much. I want to have a great family life. I want to have great kids. I want to be happy with my husband. So because of those things, there is like, I do deserve this. I do deserve all of this happiness. And what stops us are the limits of the labels we put, the language that we use in talking to ourselves, and the language that we use also in inspiring and communicating with others. So if you're a great communicator, I always say this to people: if you're a great communicator, you'll be so good at talking to yourself, and you'll be so good at also influencing others and creating network partnerships, people who can help build you up, ally with you, so that you can achieve your hopes and your wishes better.
Nice. No.
Ay,
So what
ito ka
you're telling,
mouthful.
kulang na lang Karal yung wave na lang natin eh, no? Para sa Miss Universe.
I believe that.
Yeah, you're dressed for the part. You're dressed for the part, Karel. So, what Karel is telling us is that first it starts with how you perceive yourself. So, sabi nga ni James Clear, si Karel is also a fan of James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits. No, so change is not just about changing your behavior and processes. The first and foremost change is the change in identity.
Oh
So
yeah.
instead of saying I'm a loser, you say I'm a winner.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of saying I don't smoke, you say I'm
Mm-hmm.
not a smoker, etc., etc. So that's
Mm-hmm.
the first thing, and also how you talk to yourself. The most important communication is not actually between uh, another person, but it's actually
Mm.
how you communicate to yourself. So that's very very important, no. So Karel, I'm very interested kasi yun nga no, what you're saying is people find it difficult to change, no?
Mm-hmm.
Because it change for them is very daunting. It's difficult. It's challenging. How do
Mm-hmm.
we simplify change? How do we make it simple? How do we make it easy to do?
I have been quite fatalistic. A lot of people will say to me, "Carol, you're too simple. Your solutions are too simple." And I say, simple is good. And like, for example, changing words. If I say stress, instead of saying stress, I encourage people to say stretch. Instead of saying good morning, I say amazing morning. Too simple, yeah, but those words affect how I feel. Now the other thing is, like, from the words I also change my tone. So simple things like great day, as compared to great day. So those are little things that, yeah, I can do this. So I self motivate a lot, and some people say, Carol, it's just you're just covering the surface. But there is such a huge link between the mind and the body, the physiology and the psychology. So can I do that? And let me experiment. Again, as an experimenter, can I experiment? Does it change anything? Now, there is a suicidal guy who's seen me. He was one of my first experiments, and he's like, I want to kill myself. I want to die. He was really forlorn. He was really distraught. His shoulders were hunched, and he's really tired, and you could see that there's no joy in his eyes. He's suffering grief. And I said, can I just do an experiment? Can you straighten your shoulders? And he did. And I said, okay, breathe in through your nose very deep. And he did. And I said, can you raise both of your hands up? And he did. And then I said, can you just put the side of your lips up like this? So he did. I didn't tell him to smile. I just said, can you just put it up a little bit? And can you say, I'm tired? And when he did that, he was like, he started laughing. And he started to say, oh my God. That felt so good. And that minor change began the deep work. But it's so hard to begin that deep work within a person's, layers and layers of baggage and history if their brains don't even know that they can have a simple win, a small win. Let
Yeah.
your brains have a small win. Like, I was just coaching another girl over, the past few days, and she's like, I am at my lowest. I'm at my most depressed. I am, and she breaking. Her voice was breaking. She was in tears. And I said, what do you want to feel? And she says, I want to feel empowered. It's like, I know that a breakthrough is right here, there at the corner, but I can't seem to know how it feels like. I can't feel it. And then I gave her another experiment, and I said to her, because in NLP we do a lot of patterns. It's like a brain rehearsal. It's like going through an exercise. And I did a closed eye process with her, and I said, yeah, can you remember moments in your life when you felt that empowered? When you felt empowered, when you felt good, and as she was thinking about these things, I put them all together. I jumbled it all up together, and I said, how does it feel in your throat? How does it feel in your head? How does it feel in your hands? And she felt so good. And I said, okay, multiply that 10 times. I'll snap my fingers. You multiply that by 10. Bam! When I did that, she's like, okay, good. Times 10 again. When I did that, it's not magic. It's just like an auditory or a sound trigger for me, for her to remember. Yeah, I'll multiply it by 10. And she was like in bliss. You could see it in her face. You could hear it in her voice. Her voice has absolutely changed. And it's changing the story that is going on in their heads, not just by guiding them through a thinking process, but letting them connect a change in body. So, like, when people say, how easy is it, what are the simple things I can do? Change your body first. Straighten your shoulders, breathe, remember a moment when. Do you remember a moment when you felt this? And then be in that moment. It is, you can actually savor these moments to help you out in your present state. Now, I'm not telling you that that is the end all and be all of that solution. I'm just asking you to get into a better state, because when you're in a better state, you figure things out better. You get better solutions. You can think better. So just like this guy who straightened his shoulders, started to breathe, then he was ready. Then if I asked him about, all of his issues and all of his problems, there's already a win, a hope,
Yeah.
rather than you talk to someone and, um, just let them spiral down or simmer in their and wallow in their misery. Can you give them a win from
Yeah.
that misery?
Amazing. I'm
So
learning so much, Carl. I'm in my on my second page sa notes sa notebook ko. So two things na. I
good.
just like hindi, gusto ko lang kasing I just want to summarize what you're trying to say because these are very important things. Number one, and I got reminded the value of a simple win. For you to be able to solve a deep or big problem, you don't need to have a big solution immediately, but just a small win to get the
Hmm.
ball rolling, right?
Yep.
And then the second one, actually, you're giving me a lot of tips on how to prepare, like for example, before events or before talks. Four things. First is make your body in a position of confidence.
Yeah.
Put your body in a position of confidence. Second is deep breathing.
Hmm.
Third is remember a moment when. I love
Hmm.
that. Remember a moment when you felt so confident, so loved, so happy, and everything, and then multiply it
Yep.
10
Yep.
times.
That is
Love it.
actually, when you're an actor, when you're a performer on stage, me, Emma, that my background is theater.
Yes,
So
yes.
prior to insurance sales, my background, my life has always been theater. You do not go on stage getting into the character while you are entering the
Yeah,
stage.
Yeah.
You cannot be there acting with your co-actor and figure out eventually how the body language should be of your character. You have to act it behind. You have to have mental preparation behind that stage and stand like your role, be your role, start feeling it, and then when you enter into it, that's who you are. You feel
Yeah.
that, you embody it. What a lot of NLP does is, as I've said, brain training. And the brain training also comes from a lot of physiological training. So whether you see Tony Robbins on stage, behind the stage, he would go on his trampoline, jump up and down, he would spin
Oh.
around, he would raise his arms up in the air even before he goes on stage. He sets his body in motion so that
Mm.
he's ready. So that's what I do whenever and even before Tony Robbins, because I attended his workshops in the UK before, but even before I saw him, I'm like, hey, I'm doing that. You know, it's really a common practice of a lot of performers to get your body, or athletes even getting your body ready, because your mind will follow.
Mm.
So you're right. When you're also talking about uh, making sure that you have a win, I'm not talking about win that is directly sometimes related to your problem.
Yeah.
It can be like, okay, I'm good in math. Let me play Sudoku, or let me play, let me crochet or cross stitch. If it's a win for you,
Yeah.
then that's it. To put you in that good state. Now, there is a concern though, because I have clients who would say to me, Karel, I've never experienced that. I've never experienced peace.
Mm.
I'd have people who would say that to me.
All
When
their
I
life.
say,
All their
you
life.
wouldn't, you wouldn't, because okay, the brain does certain things. It deletes, distorts, and generalizes. Okay, so that's why we have so many biases. It deletes information. Like, I told you the story that when I hated my father, when I was a rebellious child, I forgot everything he did. I deleted. And then when we fixed our relationship, and my job as a coach is to undelete, help people undelete. And I realized, oh my God, it was my father who would put me to sleep every day. He would bring me to office every day when I was a baby. He's the
Mm.
one who irons my clothes every day. He's the one that, he heats up, pinapainit niya yung tubig para
Yeah.
hindi kami, iniigib niya. Nag-iigib ng tubig na pampaligo ko para makaligo, tapos magpapainit yan ng tubig.
Yeah.
And I deleted all of that, and just saw all the bad things and remembered all the bad things, because that's what our brains do. So same with other people, because of their depression, or what they're going through, or their difficulties in life. If you ask them, what makes you happy? Nothing. A moment
Oh.
when you felt love? Never.
Because they
So
deleted it.
yeah, they deleted it. So I say stuff like NLP language. Never. That has never happened, or always. I'm always, like this, always. Interesting. So you never felt love, not from your mom. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, my mom loves me. Ah, okay, so you felt love. Yeah. So my job is to connect what they've deleted and ask these questions to help them undelete, and remove the distortions. Like if they say, my father always screams at me and he hates me. Oh, so his screaming makes you think he hates you. Yeah. And I would say, has there been anybody who screamed at you but doesn't hate you? And then they realize, no, no, not everyone who screams hates. Ah, okay. So not everyone who screams hates. Is it possible that he has a loud voice because of his upbringing? And they realize, yeah, yeah, that's how my grandfather talks. So you
Mm.
remove that distortion
Mm.
that he hates me, he doesn't love me because of this, because of that. Those are the limiting beliefs you have in that kind of relationship. But if you realize, he's doing the best that he can with what he knows, does that make him, you know, um, you know, less loving to you. He loves you. It's
Yeah.
just a different way. So um, yeah, that's those are my takes on changing little things, changing
Yeah.
little words, changing little actions,
Yeah,
etc.
and Karel, no, but you talked about how to start it. So it's through simple and easy wins, no.
Mm-hmm.
Pero syempre, we know that is, success is not about just the start. It's about consistency. It's about the daily habits. And dito medyo we will go to our favorite one of our favorite topics, atomic habits. No? So what do you think, Karel, are the ways on how we can make the progress sustainable or the healing sustainable in our life.
To make the healing sustainable in your life, I you surround yourself with the you create the environment, because environment always shapes behavior. Like I gave this example, like if you have a drug addict or a drug dependent, you're if they're in that environment, they won't stop. It'll be tougher. I've seen people who changed despite the environment. That's sheer willpower, man. I mean, that's absolute strength. But they go through rehab, they go through therapy. You take them out of the environment, and build that strong enough for them so that when they go back, mas malakas sila. But I encourage you to build that environment, like putting positive quotes. Some people would say, "I'm corny." It's so corny, but I do have it everywhere, because I need as much support in my healing. So can I make it visual? I listen to so many podcasts. I listen to many things that will inspire me. I take as many courses as possible that I can take, like with Move Up, even, or with Wellness. I listen to as many things. Why? Because I need to have that kind of environment and saturate myself with the right input. I make sure that if there is I tell this to people, if there is a trail from waking up to your toilet, pepper that entire trail with things that you need to be reminded of for your healing. And if you have a way to the office, or if you have your car, or if you have your computer, you should have reminders everywhere. You can utilize your phone. You can
Yeah.
use your phone, because we have technology to set things up for you, to set your environment. Um, Consistency is the key. And like, for example, the way I wake up, I have already one playlist that I play. One. And it's
Mm.
called Morning
Please share
Ritual.
please share
Hmm?
the playlist to me. Please share the
Well, I
playlist to
could.
me.
I could. And I encourage you to make yours, kasi mine are my favorite songs.
Ah, yeah,
So
yeah.
my morning ritual, the first thing are praise and worship songs. I have breathing meditation songs. And I have, after all of that, I have a song called I've Got the Power. I've got the power. I have that. So I have that. Now, that's already my playlist. So I know that everything is timed. I already have something for
Oh,
prayer, to prep my mind with meditation, and then to pump up my body with I've got the power. So it's like putting that in my process. And not unless I do that, it's not complete. My day is not complete. Then also, at night, diba, you set your alarm. I have an app called Headspace. I play that, or I can put in Wellness, and I could listen to something that will help me meditate. So those things I can turn on, and it's easy for you to just access and play those things that can put you in a state of calm. So the learning that I need, or the tasks that I need to do, they're part of I plan a lot. They're a part of my list of to do things. So very important that you track these things.
mm,
Why? Because if you don't track it, like, hey, I prayed today, your brain is not so rewarded, or I meditated today, or I connected with my kids today. If you don't celebrate that and savor that, your brain dismisses it also as not that important. you know it was not
yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
Yeah, it was not a big thing. So celebrate it first, as a big thing or as a win. until your brain realizes that it cannot live without it.
Yeah. So four things again from what Carelle is saying. Number one is create the environment that will support what you want to achieve. Second is continuous learning. So always uh, going through videos on how to improve yourself. Third is use technology. So
Mm-hmm.
Spotify for the playlist, Headspace. Of course,
You know, it's
yeah, go, go.
yes. Sorry, sorry. I just want to interject. It's simply making the change or the things you want visible,
Yeah,
accessible, easy. Prepare it in advance.
we're losing you
Make
again
it
a
in.
bit.
Sorry,
Sorry.
sorry. So can you hear me now? Can you
Yeah,
hear
yeah,
me?
yeah. Better.
Yeah.
Yep.
For the things
Yes.
you don't want, make it invisible. Like if you want to lose weight, diba? Stop buying all those nasty food, or start eating healthy by buying more vegetables and fish. So it takes more effort for you to do the bad things or the bad behaviors.
Yeah. So sabi nga ni James Clear, no, for you to just to add to what we've been talking about, no, for you to create the good habits or sustain the good habits, make it
And
obvious, make it
mm-hmm,
attractive, make it easy, make it
mm-hmm,
satisfying, and for you to remove the bad behaviors, do the opposite, make them invisible, unattractive, difficult to do, and unsatisfying or dissatisfying. So
yeah.
Karel, the next naman that I want to ask you, kasi not every day is a good day. Sometimes we have setbacks, temporary, minor setbacks, or even major setbacks. No, so when we experience setbacks, sample, di ba? You want to stop smoking.
Mm-hmm,
I'm not a smoker, so I won't know. But for example, if you want to stop smoking, you already stop for 20 days, and then there's this one day that you're so stressed out, so tired, and you had the smoke, and then
mm-hmm.
it led to another day that you smoked. So how do you handle those setbacks in creating the right habits for yourself?
But when James Clear was talking about identity, and it is so clear to you what you are, even because I used to be a heavy smoker. I used to smoke. Well, now I have this other alternative to smoking. I'm not, of course, promoting any of that, but so in a way, I have quit smoking. I have quit ordinary smoking for the past 4, 5 years already, and I hate going back to that taste. I hate the smell. You really hate it. So one is to be clear first with the identity of who you are, and and when you start um, behaving um, towards that, the old habits. James Clear mentioned that doing it for 2 days, you're already creating a new bad habit. It's so easy to just go back to that old habit. So the way that I see it is, one is okay, but I probably puffed a cigarette, let's say, but that doesn't make me a smoker. I'm not a smoker. I am not. So
Mm-hmm.
one is not to be too hard on yourself and get right back in. Get right back into the to the to the good behaviors that you want to set, instead of saying, "Oh, I did that. Oh, I'll just keep on doing it." Or or like, okay, I'm a vegetarian. I ate meat. Oh, sige na nga, I'll eat more bacon. It's like, okay, you had a break. You had a fall. You had a mistake. You had a little bit of temptation there. Although, try to get back up. fail forward and say, all right, I forgive myself, be more compassionate with yourself, and say, I'll try again. Tomorrow is another day. Later on is another day. Later is another meal. Or, I'll start fresh. Never again. I tried. I tried smoking. Siguro it was like 2 years after I quit. I tried smoking, having a puff of a real cigarette, and I like after a few puffs, I'm like, never again, never again. It was just to test,
Yeah.
But yeah, I forgive myself and say, not me anymore. That's not who I am.
Yeah. So
So,
yeah, very powerful message, Carol. No, we tend to you mentioned two very useful things, or great reminders on how we should treat failures or setbacks. First is not to be too hard on yourself, because it's really part of the process, di ba? Yung mga setbacks and challenges, they're really part
mm-hmm,
of the journey. And to forgive yourself.
mm-hmm,
That's actually one of the things that a lot of us are not able to do. That's why instead of going back to our good habits, talagang balik, kasi nga parang it becomes a vicious cycle of guilt, yung bags, diba, blame, anger, guilt, and shame, no? So
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm,
going back to what you want as your identity. So as long
mm-hmm,
as you say that you're not a smoker, then if you smoke a bit, couple of days, no, you go back, no, to your original identity of not
mm-hmm,
being a smoker. So very very
mm-hmm.
important, no, to not not take it too seriously, and to be able to forgive yourself. No. So
If I may though, I'd like to give a little tip. For the clients I have who have smoking addiction, I've used a lot of NLP techniques. So, for example, I let them imagine smoking. If they're smoking a cigarette, imagine the satisfaction that they feel, right, when they're smoking. And then in the middle of it, I make them realize, remember the things that they hate to smell and taste. So sometimes while
oh,
while I'm putting them in that brain rehearsal, I say, while you're puffing a cigarette, then there's this taste, like the taste of cockroach or
oh
the
my god,
taste of rust. Yeah.
yeah.
Or I make them sometimes feel, that feeling of a hairball in your throat. So I do that, and I let their brains remember how disgusting it is, and attaching to them the smell of the cigarette as so close to the smell of a cockroach or rust. So
Mm.
that's in a way the language of the brain and the programming that they have, because whenever they smoke, they're like, "Ooh, I love the feeling." So I interject things that they hate, and I've helped a lot of people stop smoking because of associating smoking and making it multiplied 10 times. So if I can do this for a good feeling,
Yeah.
I can use it for a bad feeling to reinforce for them to stop doing certain behaviors. So people are like, yuck. Yeah. So yeah, the
Talaga. So basically, ano, no, it's about one word, association, no. That's why siguro change is difficult for a lot of us, kasi we associate it with pain, no. But if we
yes.
associate it with better things, pleasure, happiness, success, no, then we'll
Yeah.
be able to do it, no. And then yung
Yeah.
mga bad habits, kasi nga the reason why we're doing the bad habits is, Mara, sa smoking, no, it makes us look cool and everything, no. So
Mm-hmm.
it's the way to let go of it is to be able to associate it with things that are not attractive. Yeah, no.
Mm-hmm.
So
Or
super
effortful.
like,
Like one of the things that made me stop smoking was my son. Kasi I hated the fact that I have to wash my hands and my face every
uh,
time I smoke just to hold him. I hate this. I don't want him to smell it. So ang
yeah.
effort, I didn't
Uh,
want the effort to wash. So, ayaw maghugas. Hugas lang ako ng hugas. So,
Oo nga,
nag-stop na lang ako mag-smoke.
yun. So I'm getting it Karel. So much useful here insights here no. Last question, Karel. I know baka nasa reception na yung yung wedding.
Yes, yes.
Ayan. For a lot of us, especially the as Filipinos, no, we're survivors, no. So parang lagi nating iniisip that we can do it on our own. We don't need anybody's help. This too shall pass. So that's why mental health is not being talked about, but it's actually being experienced by a lot of people. No, so actually in our research, around 7 million Filipinos have encountered depression, no, or anxiety at some point in their lives. No, so what my question is how can coaching, NLP training help a person go through healing or go through leveling up breakthroughs no in his life and how yun sige go.
I always tell people that sometimes we're too close to the tree. That's why we don't see the entire forest. And even if, for example, you're saying, "Oh, I'm not experiencing depression. I'm not. Yeah, I've had anxiety before, but I overcame it." That's good. That's good for you. Although even if I am a person who is well put together already because I've been helped by what I do, I also seek help because it's very important for us to have different perspectives. So if there's nothing wrong with you, you just need to unburden yourself and feel a little better. Go and seek help still, counseling, coaching, therapy if needed. Do that so that you can have a bigger perspective. Now if you are experiencing something that's quite difficult, well, all the more you ask for help, all the more that you say, ang hirap if you see a burden and you are doing this by yourself. Just knowing that there is someone that you can talk to, not necessarily solve your problem, but someone that you can talk to who can probably give you awareness. I was coaching someone in Spain the other day,
Mm,
and I was just like telling her what's happening to the brain when we're stressed. What's happening to our brain when the brain experiences change. And she's like, "Oh my god, this is so good." And I was not even doing therapy yet. I was just giving her information of what's happening to the brain. She's like, "That's why." Sometimes that's all we need. Someone that I know we can read books. I know there are things that we can do to shed light and make us understand. But it's different kasi when we're talking to somebody and we know that it's addressed to us. We know that
yeah,
this person is really addressing us and our concerns and our needs and that we're heard. The brain needs to feel acknowledged. The brain needs to feel heard. The brain is seeking for social connection no matter how introverted you may be. And the minute that the brain feels that social connection, it alleviates, lessens the pressure. It lessens the release of the cortisol. It increases the release of the positive chemicals in our body. So even if you fake it while you're talking to a friend, again, as I've said, sometimes it's just body practice. Show up. And when
yeah,
you do that, it affects how you think. It already affects your entire neurology as it, commands your entire body to feel a lot better because you're doing something that is better for you.
yeah. So that's why sabi nga ni Paul, the power of manifesting no. So that's why we
That's
need
right.
coaching and therapy and training no kasi nga we can't see everything. Really cannot see everything on our own. Meron tayong blind spot no? And that's where
Mm-hmm.
coaching and training come into play, no? And that's exactly why, Karel, no, we started with this wellness app, no, to be able to help our fellow Filipinos, really have a safe community where we talk about just being better, just being well, healing, and everything, no. Kasi nga because of social media, how social media is right now, especially with the nearing elections, very toxic, no. So we really want to have a community where we focus really on wellness. And I'd like to thank you, Karel, for be and RR also. I hope
Of course. Thank you, din daw, RR. He's been for driving me, and he's been quiet the entire time while I'm doing the interview. Can I just show my husband? There's my husband
Hello.
trying to drive at full speed safely so that we can
Without
have
blowing
better
his horn.
signal.
So thank you, RR. No? And I'd like to thank you and RR for being one of our founding coaches. So you can find Karel and RR in wellness. No, very soon we'll set it up very comprehensively. We'll set up services and everything. So looking forward to an amazing journey with you, Karel and RR. No.
Oh, yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, sabi ni
We're
Paul,
here to support. Yes.
how I define things dictates what I get. I love it.
Sorry, ano, way too?
How I define things dictates
Ah,
what I get. Oh yeah.
yes. Oh, quotable
So
quote.
well, no, Karel, we'd like to give you time, no, to be able to
Mm-hmm,
let people know. People
mm-hmm.
are listening from all over Southeast Asia, in Vietnam, of course, in the Philippines, no, in other parts of the world. So, Karel, can you please, this is your time to tell us what's happening in train station, if you
Yes.
have public events, no, or
Mm-hmm.
anything to promote.
Well, thank you for this opportunity. And again, I apologize because I never usually do any interview in transit. As much as possible, it has to be, in our office or in our studio. So thank you so much for bearing with me and my signal. I just want to share with everybody that, the things that I was talking about at the brain and the language that we have in the programming, all of those things that we use in coaching and in helping people, we've translated that into leadership. We've translated that into customer service, into sales, into helping people change their limiting beliefs about all of these things that they have in their careers, in their lives, so that they can deliver better results. So with that, we have our company called Trainstation, and we've set our offices also in Singapore, in Hong Kong, and recently in Canada, because we want to help as many people as possible. What we're trying to do is giving people not just the motivation, but the tools. Are there tools that I can use? And the way that we utilize our training is it's integrated into how we teach, into how we train. So we make sure that we're not just talking about concepts, but people experience the concepts, experience the change, and they really come out of the training a lot more empowered. A lot of people would say to us, why is it that after our sales rally, our people are already achieving targets and going beyond targets and a lot more braver? Well, because we don't just tell you concepts and theories. The way that we do what we do is letting already people explore and practice and realize for themselves what we're talking about. So that is Train Station, and we have a lot of our trainings and events available. We're already doing hybrid, Evan.
Oh
So
yes, I
we
saw.
do, yeah, we have a combination of live trainings and online trainings, things that are virtual. So you can get in touch with us at www.trainstation.com.ph, or you can email me at goddess@trainstation.com.ph. You can also follow me on Facebook, Carelle Herrera, if you need our services and our help. Now, for the public programs, we have a couple of things in our calendar, although please follow Train Station so that you can be updated on our calendar. As of now, I don't have it with me. We also have our learning opportunities through on demand. So we learn also anytime, anywhere with our clients, and we customize our training programs according to the needs of our partners. So that's it about Train Station. We hope that we get to move people to be amazing by choice. That's it,
Galing,
Evan.
grabe. So thank you so much, Karel. Really learned a lot. These are things that I actually have learned from you. I've siguro watched you talk siguro mga 20 times at least, Karel, no?
Oo, ang
But,
dami
but
na.
every yeah, that's serious. But every time that I talk with you or you share something, I learn something new and get reminded. No? So super thanks. Paul and I would like to extend our sincerest gratitude, no, not only for this talk but really for supporting us at Wellness, and we're so fortunate to have you on our side, have you in our team. Thank you again, and uh, God bless on your journey, not only in train station but there on your journey to the wedding.
Yes, yes.
And
We're almost here.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. And again, thank you to everyone who watched. Thank you for all those who made your comments. Apologies if we're not able to read all of them, but really thank you for being so engaged and so participative. So this is Eman Paras, co-founder of Wellness, and here with us is Karel the one and only Carelle Mangaliag-Herrera, one of the people I truly admire the most. Thank you again, Carelle and RR. And this is Wellness Talk number 6. Mind your mind. God bless everyone.